Hi, and welcome to EmpathicFire. I'm your reader, Jay. Welcome to a very special birthday reading for Sagittarius. Hi, Sagittarius. How are you guys doing? I hope you guys are doing well. As I just said, this is going to be your birthday message or your birthday reading. I've decided to do these since in August for Leos. And so I'm just going to continue through the entire Zodiac wheel ending with Pisces. So you're next, Sag. Thank you so much for showing up here. I do things, if you're familiar with my channel, I do things slightly differently with my readings here, so we'll get to that in a second. But, you know, like I said, it is your birthday time, so happy birthday to you guys. And as you can see, this is coming out slightly later than when the Sagittarius time period actually begins. I think it's about, what is this? Today's the 25th, right? So 3 days later. I do apologize for those early Sages, but I think you know why I was absent. It is a big holiday here in the States, so duty calls when holidays roll around, and I'm gonna probably have to apologize to Capricorns when this time period happens in about a month around Christmas time. Anyway, so I've gone ahead and I shuffled off camera and meditated with the energy of the deck. I'm going to give it another shuffle or two, and then once I am told I'm ready, that's when I will lay the cards out. When everything is lying out and it's face up, that's when the reading will begin. I'll put a timestamp for that in the description box below, okay? If you just want to go ahead and jump to that point. Sagittarius. Good, thank you. Okay. Nice and easy. Connecting with your energy today was nice and easy. I feel strong with it. And if I didn't say happy birthday to you guys, I think I did, but it was like 2 seconds ago, but for some reason I can't remember. So happy birthday to you guys, all the early Sagittariuses, those who celebrated on the 22nd, 23rd, all of that. And those who will be celebrating later on at the end of December. This will apply to you as well, okay? Here we go. Ooh. The shuffle was easy, the meditation was easy, but this part, getting your deck stacked right, seems a little bit more work. So that might mean something to somebody. But this, okay, there it goes. All right, so card 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's no bottom of the deck energy with the birthday readings, but we will have an oracle card for you at the end. All right, so let's see here. That looks about right. Let's go ahead and flip these guys over. Okay. All right, Sag, and if you haven't seen the birthday readings before, which I would assume most of you haven't, I kind of stack this and tier this to be sort of mimicking a cake. You can also think of it as a pyramid if you're not a fan of cake, but who's not a fan of cake? Anyway, and each position does have a different meaning for you within your birthday period. So I will explain those meanings, and I will go as I go along introducing each card, okay? So let's go ahead and get started. All right, Sag, so your first card here in your first position is what you're coming in with during this birthday period time. It's sort of like the past, or what you're already familiar with, what you kind of already have a clear line of sight of and a clear understanding of. It also might be something that is plaguing you, or is like a continued problem or issue for you going forward, okay? And you come in with the Knight of Pentacles in that position. So if it is a problem, if it is plaguing you, if it's something that's like needs to be dealt with, this might be a person, maybe even an earth sign person, almost a Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, no, a Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn, excuse me, those are the air signs. Or it might be someone who's in a position of leadership or a position of industry. I'm feeling there's somebody here who could be a business owner, or somebody who, like I said, would be a leader, so maybe a manager or an owner or someone at the top who, you know, they're there for a reason. They're there because they're qualified, and they would be there because they have the experience and the know-how, but at the same time, they might not be the friendliest person. They might not be the person who you can get easy access to. So they might be a little standoffish, and they might be a little protective of what they have, what they own, what they value. And again, this is all under the umbrella if this is a problem, or if this is something that needs to be addressed, or someone that needs to be addressed. Could be you. This could be a facet of you, Sagittarius. It doesn't have to be anybody else. But I think like there would need to be like a certain subtle conversation or interaction with this person to get whatever desired result that you wanted. If you wanted to be closer to this person, like I said, if it's a boss or a leader in your company, and for whatever reason you want to work alongside them, or you want to apprentice from them or learn from them, or just be friendly with them, you would have to do it subtly. You couldn't just come out and say, I'm interested in working under you. I'm interested in trying to be assigned to your your project team or anything like that. I think that person would view it as sucking up. That person would view it as brown nosing, and it's just it would not go over well to approach that person that way. If it's not a work thing, and Pentacles, you have a lot of Pentacles here. Pentacles often do talk about money and work and what you value, how you earn your place in the world, things like that. So if it's not work, it again could just be somebody who is sort of an authority, or again a leader, perhaps in a different dynamic. So maybe not work, but maybe in your family, or maybe in a different social setting. Maybe you're on like a sports team, or you know, some kind of recreational gathering of people, and this person is just like the default leader, even though nobody calls him or her that. And it could be a man or a woman. It doesn't have to be. Oh, did I say King of Pentacles? I'm sorry, I think I said King in the beginning. It is the Knight of Pentacles. I apologize, but the feeling still remains that this person is a leader, that this person still control something, or they feel they control something, even if they don't, which is why I'm like going this route in the family in the family, excuse me, or on a sports recreational team. It's like we don't really have a leader, we don't really have anybody who is in charge, but this person kind of takes that role and runs with it. And again, this is all under the umbrella of an issue or a problem or something that needs to be addressed, or someone that needs to be addressed. So there's this ability to get things done, because the Knight of Pentacles would get things done. He's efficient, he's smart, he's methodical, he has a lot, and I'm saying he, doesn't have to be a he just has a great knack for being efficient, or being successful, and getting the job done. Great qualities, but it comes at a price of being a little snobbish, or a little standoffish, a little emotionally unavailable. And that might be an issue, again, within you that needs to be addressed, Sagittarius, or a certain dynamic or a certain relationship or experience that you have with another person. If this is not a problem, if this isn't anything that needs to be addressed, like I said, you're bringing this energy in with you. So you might be possessing those qualities, the good and the bad of them. For some of you, your work has definitely been on your mind. I get, you know, from the silhouette here, you get this idea of industry, you get this idea of entrepreneurial, startup business, small business kind of thing. And so some of you might have that being like the focal point of how you come into this birthday period. Like, what am I doing with my life? Am I going to, you know, get anywhere with my business? Is this business going to be a success? Will I get the right vendors in place so that I can transition into this market? You're just like really plotting your way forward with what you want to do in terms of how you make a living and how you support yourself and how you find stability. Like I said, Pentacles deals with money. It deals with things that you value, your job, the way that you earn that money. It also deals with, like I said, stability. What contributes to your foundation. And with the Knight of Pentacles, you would be thinking about it constantly. Well, if not constantly, consistently. At a regular interval, this would be something that comes into your mind that you're like, okay, you know, you're balancing your checkbook, you're looking at all your accounts, your investments, you're looking at your bank account and you're seeing not enough zeros. Maybe you're seeing a little bit of red and not black. And you're just like, okay, you're in this evaluation period. And, excuse me, the Knight of Pentacles, all the Knights really are sort of the bridge between the evaluation, which is usually in the page arena, and the execution, which is usually in the hands of the queens and the kings of the court card. So the Knights are kind of the bridge between those two energies. So they do some thinking and then they act a little bit. They do more thinking and then they act a little bit. And they usually are still a little wet behind the ears. There's still a little bit of their energy needs to be developed, needs to be focused, needs to be sort of parsed down and really become more qualified. So maybe that's what some of you are doing. You're in a transition period in your life in terms of your work or in terms of your business, in terms of your finances, where you have something, but it's not a lot, or you have very little and you want to make it something substantial. So there's this evaluation period. Some of you might be thinking, I need to change jobs, or I need to change industries, or I need to go back to school. I'm not necessarily seeing much study here, but just to, you know, cover my bases. Some of you might be thinking, in order to make more money, in order to get to a certain level in this job, I need to go back and get certain certifications, certain qualifications. They're not going to promote me otherwise. So you're trying to figure out, how can you pay for this certification course? How can you make time for it in your schedule, etc., etc., etc. Okay, so there's just this feeling of surveying your entire situation surrounding money, surrounding jobs, surrounding stability, and really getting a game plan together so that you can execute it going forward. Okay, so that's what you're coming in with. Your second position, excuse me, is sort of what's in your core. You might want to think of this as the present. It's what can help you or what needs to be overcome in the moment today, during this period of time. So whether you want to think of it actually today, the moment that you're watching this video, or during this time period, during your birthday time period, okay? And what you have is you have the Two of Pentacles. And this is a very interesting depiction of this because the proportions, or not the proportions, but the perspective is a little strange. Like, I don't know how your brain works, but my brain struggles a little bit with trying to decide if that, hold on, if that person on, come on. Oh, don't be like that. I'm sorry. Hold on. Okay, there we go. My brain has trouble with deciding if that person on the unicycle is facing forward towards the viewer of the card, or they're facing away towards whatever's going on in the background. In any case, and me pointing that out might be significant to you, like trying to find the proper perspective, trying to find out which way to go, going forwards, going backwards, going sideways, whatever. But in any case, the Two of Pentacles, very much as this card is suggesting, is traditionally a card about juggling, about having two or more choices and deciding between those two or more choices. But of course, the two is more emphasized than, you know, any higher number. And that kind of remains here. That excuse me, that dilemma is the word I'm led to use, might be very critical for you right now, Sagittarius. You might be at a crossroads. You might be at a fork in the road. And for some of you, this is going to involve traveling or some type of new journey. If it's not actual physical travel, it again is like this change in circumstances, this change in behavior, this change in whatever that will lead you to a different type of experience, a new journey, even if you remain in the same location. Okay. It's interesting because I don't know how familiar you guys are with the traditional tarot deck, the Rider-Waite deck, but in that one, someone is juggling and they have like an infinity symbol between their two hands and they're balancing on one foot and they look a little clumsy. I find that even though the perspective of this card, again, is this person facing forwards or away, I can't tell, but what I find interesting is when I see a unicyclist, and not like I see them every day, but when I've seen them, you know, like at a circus or a performance somewhere, or even in like a movie or a music video, something like that, these people are, obviously they've trained and they've practiced a long time, so that when they do hit the stage, when they are on camera, their ability to keep balance on the unicycle is pretty, it looks effortless. I've also seen people ride, no, I live in a city, so I see all kinds of stuff on the street, but I've seen people riding unicycles like down the street, like it looks like they're just commuting somewhere. And they could be a performer, they could be someone who's like, you know, practicing, you know, riding along a busy street to keep their balance. But my point is, when I see these people and the way that the reason my guides are telling me, listen, talk about this, is because it seems effortless. It seems as though they're not really trying that hard, or they don't really have to worry too much. So you might be, oh, okay. So you might be giving that impression to people, Sagittarius, in the moment, in the present. This might be what you need to overcome. You need to overcome this idea or this image of you looking like you've got everything under control, that you have your head on straight and you can make these decisions and move yourself forward without any qualms, without any second guessing, without any like precarious balancing act. I think people might not fully grasp or even recognize that you're doing this balancing act while juggling. So you're having to keep your composure, the balancing act, while juggling, while deciding, while choosing, while weighing out your options, things like this. And nobody knows that you're doing those two things at once. I hope that makes sense to you. So again, in the present, it could be what is helping you, but it could also be what you need to overcome. So for some of you, that's helpful, that people don't recognize that you're under pressure, that you're kind of in this evaluation transition period. If you are leaving a job or you're leaving a certain relationship that is stable or steady, any relationship, I don't care what kind it is, if you're leaving a situation that is stable and steady and you kind of have been a leader in it before and you're trying to transition, because like I said, for some of you this means like an actual physical move, or it means a turning point in your life. It means I'm going to start on a different path. Okay, if you're doing that and you don't want people to know about it, it would be good for you to kind of have this image. Oh, Sagittarius is okay. He or she has their head on straight. He or she is, you know, it's business as usual. When under the surface, when behind closed doors, oh no, I'm just doing this for the meantime because I have all these decisions I'm going to be making. I have these moves I'm going to be making, and I don't want to stir the pot. I don't want to disturb the waters. I just want to have like a cool transition out of this place. So for some of you, it's good. For others, it's not good because I feel, excuse me, my voice might be going, which would be terrible. Let's hope that doesn't happen. For others of you, it's not necessarily good. It's not necessarily beneficial because you are having to, you kind of have to let people in a little bit on your secret, if that makes sense. You have to let people know, hey, listen, it looks like I'm having an easy time with this. It looks like everything is hunky-dory, but it's really a little, slightly chaotic. Not crazy chaotic. It's not anything so crucial or detrimental that's on the horizon. But I feel like to a certain extent, Sagittarius, like you are treading water. And if you tread water for a little while, it's okay. But as anybody knows, you tread water long enough and you begin to drown, right? So you might need to open that door a little bit, let someone in to help you, even if not to help you make a decision, no, but help you as in be someone you can confide in. Even if you do all this work yourself, which it seems you're going to be doing a lot of this yourself, I still think it would be beneficial if someone knew everything that you're thinking about, everything that you're considering, or at least the ballpark of where you are. If everybody just looks at you and says, "Oh, you look cool. You look like you're fine. You look like your normal everyday self," they're not going to think twice that I should ask Sagittarius, "Hey, how's everything with so and so, or how's everything with this and that?" If nobody's asking you those questions, it's because you give off this air. And I'm not blaming you. This is not a blame game, but this is just an explanation as to why this burden of yours, or this juggling that you're doing, might be more than it needs to be, is because you're keeping it to yourself. You're holding it close to yourself, and you're dealing with it all by yourself in your head. And so nobody's going to say, "Hey, Sag," they're not really going to give you more than the, "Hey, Sag, what's up? How are you doing?" And you say, "I'm good, fine, thank you, blah, blah, blah." And then it's on to the next part of the conversation. You're not really divulging what's stressing you out, what's taking up your mental time, or what's taking up your time and your investment. And you know what I mean? It's just like, you don't have to tell anybody anything about your life ever, okay? But if you feel stressed out, or you're reaching that point while you're treading the water that you start to feel as if you're about to drown, as if you're about to go under the water line, maybe reveal a thing or two that's on your plate that maybe somebody not could help you with, but at least, to me, I feel it's this feeling of, if you say it, if you name your stress, if you name your burden, if you name the thing that gives you anxiety, that makes you nervous, whatever it is, if you name it, if you just have a conversation about it. This isn't like, go see a therapist, you need this type of help. This is very like, if you just say it, I think you'll feel a lot better, is kind of what I'm getting. Like, just have a casual conversation over coffee, while hanging out at a party with friends, whatever. Just pull somebody, not even pull, if it naturally comes about. Like, you're at a party and someone's like, "Hey, what's up, blah, blah, blah," and you guys are kind of on a sideline conversation. Have that sideline conversation. And then after you've talked out a few things, maybe someone will tell you, an anecdote about their life when they were going through such a transition, when they were considering leaving a job, when they were considering leaving a certain stable relationship, and how it worked for them, blah, blah, blah. That might clear your head a little bit. Like, I just get this feeling that the juggling is more because you're not showing that's exactly what you're doing. Okay? My voice is all kinds of messed up. I'm going through all kinds of state. Like, what is that? What is... Excuse me. It's not your problem. Moving on. Your third position is how you're moving forward. You might want to think of this as your future, what's next for you. It's also what's coming to you. It could also be what you need to expect, or what you are looking forward to, or what you might be warned about in the future. Excuse me. I apologize for all of the vocal craziness that you're experiencing right now, but I can't really help it. Maybe I'll go make myself some tea after this. Anyway, you've got the Seven of Pentacles. So, like I said, your reading is very Pentacles focused. And so this traditionally is talking about waiting to reap, looking at the seeds you've planted and seeing the first buds, the first bits of fruit that are beginning to ripen on the line, and looking at them going, is it ready to reap these things? Can I pull that fruit down from the branch? Can I pull those flowers from the ground or whatever? And it's kind of interesting. On either side, there's this feeling of evaluation. I think here is evaluation and execute, and here is evaluation as in, okay, am I going to... I'm sorry about the focus today. Okay, thank you. Yeah, like this is planning to execute, I should say. So you plan to execute. You think of a plan and then you think of how to execute it. Then you decide, am I going to do it? Am I really going to follow through? And here is, okay, I've decided I'm going to go through with it. It's like a slow pull of the trigger is what I'm feeling. So in that case, this Seven of Pentacles would indicate everything is in place. So thank you. There we go. So this balancing act, going back here really quickly, that some of you are doing, whether people are aware of it or not, whether you're showing it or not, is all about, to some extent, not all about, but to some extent it is about the timing. The timing has to be right. All of the elements have to be in place. It has to be the right time. It has to be certain conditions. You have to have certain contracts in place. You have to have certain relationships established, certain relationships ready to be severed, whatever. And this would be all of those things sort of falling into place and you saying, okay, I'm ready to execute. I'm ready to make that move. I'm ready to make that jump away from this situation into this situation, going forward, going backward, whatever, wherever you're going. I'm not really feeling this like outside of just you yourself and being decisive, being ready, being, excuse me, willing and able to take a step wherever you're going, in whatever direction, for whatever purpose, towards something, away from something, into something, out of something, I don't know. It's just this willingness. And the Seven of Pentacles is like right at the threshold of being ready, you know? Stop moving like a, there we go. It's right at that threshold. You know, you've got this guy, this gardener, this farmer, whatever, standing by this bush, looking at those pentacles, his fresh, ripe, juicy pentacles, going, I think I want to pull some of these. But it's, again, it's like at that threshold. It's like this, okay, maybe, thank you. Perhaps in these first two positions, you were less ready. You were less able to see clearly, yes, I'm ready. This is what I want. You know, it just was this incline, this ascendance towards being ready is how I'm being led to talk about that. So there might be this thing of building, your confidence is building, your security or your feeling secure is building. You feel, yeah, you feel you know what's right to do as time goes on. So this could be after your birthday period. This could be, you know, it could still be within, you know, November or December. But if you want to think of it in terms of time, I never do that, but here we go. Seven of Pentacles, time periods. Pentacles are the slowest element, and they do deal with time because it's something that we value here in our experience. So if it's the slowest, for some of you, it could be 7 months is what they're telling me. Like in 7 months, this could happen for you, or on the 7th month, which would be July. Okay. Or 7 months from watching this, so that could be June. But they're really making me think about 7 months. So maybe some of you have been given 7 months to get something done, or you have a game plan that you're trying to execute in 7 months, or I don't know. I don't normally talk about time in that way. I know other tarot readers will pull out cards, oh yeah, in 4 weeks. And I'm like, I don't do that. I can't read that way. But they're having me think about 7 months a lot. Okay? So that might be significant for like a few of you. If that means nothing to you, that sounds like too long of a time, let that go. Okay? It's not for you. It would be for someone else. Okay? But yeah, so there's this idea of, and look, there's like one pentacle at the bottom there that doesn't seem to be on the bush. So there might be like this tentative harvest, this very like light harvest is how they're making me, like you're not taking everything, or you're not acting on everything that you could. You're not taking all of the fruit from the tree, from the bush. You're just taking some of it. So there might be a little bit of a half step, or a little bit of like a trial run or something like that you're doing. Okay? I don't feel that this card contains much of a warning. If it does, maybe we would go back to that 7-month thing where you might want, excuse me, my voice is going all kinds of ways, I'm sorry. Where you might want to act now, like you want this thing to happen tomorrow, and it might not be happening as quickly as you'd like it to. Like I said, pentacles are slow. They deal with the issues of time, or the aspect of time, and how sometimes it seems to go quick and sometimes it seems to go really slowly. And I feel for this portion of it, if this is something to be warned about, that you need to kind of have a caution about, it would be that whatever your desired outcome would be, the change, the decision, the direction that you're taking, I apologize about my voice, I don't know why it's like this, is that it might happen slower than you would want, and you might have to wait longer than you anticipated, okay? For your I'm going to get some water. I'm going to try and rectify this. 1 second. Okay, Sag, I'm back. It's not better. It's slightly better. Anyway, let's get on with it. So, your 4th position, Sagittarius. Whoa. Is going to be your first present or gift. You know, again, this is sort of a birthday reading and it sort of mimics a cake. Go with me, okay? It's your first present. It's your first gift. It's what you might be hoping for or wishing for, what you might be expecting, what you might be looking to be rewarded for, or somehow given praise for, okay? And it's the 3 of Wands. All right? So, again, there's this overall feeling of journeying, moving forward, busting out. And not busting out. I shouldn't say busting out. It's not like you're boom. This is actually a very slow paced, long, drawn out feeling for you, which is totally not opposite, but very different from your normal mode of operation. So I'm going to take that back. Not busting out, but certainly progression is a theme of what's going on here. And the 3 of Wands is like that. You've got this person overlooking the sea, overlooking the bay, I don't know, the river, I don't know. And they're looking at those ships out there towards the right there, right? And there's this expectancy, thank you. There's this expectancy, like, what's going on those ships? You know, sometimes readers will read this as the ships are coming towards you, or they're going away from you because you've sent something out and you're, you know what I mean? I'm taking this as it could go either way. So you could be sending things out. You could be sending out resumes. You could be sending out CVs. You could be sending out applications. And you're waiting to hear back about whether you have been approved for that loan. Like I said, a lot of Pentacles energy. So there is this element or this underlining of money and finances, okay? So for some of you, you've asked for a small business loan and you put together a great package, you think, and you met with the bank, you know, manager or whoever oversees that process, and now you're just waiting to hear back from the institution of whether or not you've been approved so that you can start your business or, you know, get the capital that you desire, okay? Others of you, you're waiting for something to come in. So that's a different type of application where, well, I guess it's the same, but I think the expectation is a little differently. Like I said, with the financial package or the financial application, you fill out all the forms, you tell them about yourself, you have meetings, you show proposals, and you send that information out. This one, where I think it's more like a job aspect or something that maybe for some of you, like I said, going back to school, you're waiting for that message to come into you. So you're waiting to receive that letter, receive that email, receive that phone call. It's slightly different, even though it's almost the same thing. That says, well, we looked over your application, we looked over your credentials, and you're accepted into our program. You can come, you're accepted to our school. We'd love to hire you, whatever. And the point is, though, based on everything down here, especially with your first position and your second position, is feeding into that Three of Wands. And so you're planning, you're plotting here, your decision and weighing out your options and juggling between two decisions feeds into this Three of Wands, where there's this feeling, like I said, of expectancy. What's next? What's coming towards me? What am I gonna hear back from these people? What are they gonna tell me regarding this, that, and the other? Okay. And then the more whimsical side of this, or the more at home feeling I get for you, Sagittarius, is the dreaming, the wondering, the feeling more inspired, feeling more intrigued, feeling more ready and able to just take on whatever comes to you. There's this resilience, although it's a lower resilience. Why do I say lower? Because it's a 3, it's not like a high number of wands, it's only a 3. Same thing with the 2. The lower numbers, they're good, but they're not like, they often can be dealt with more easily than the higher numbers, the 8s, the 9s, the 10s, even a 7. Anyway, so this Three of Wands, I feel, is like, there are moments in your day where you're like thinking and feeling, like I said, whimsical. You're in your head, you're imagining your future, you're imagining, oh, the places you will go and things like that. And you don't usually get caught up in that. That's why I'm emphasizing the lowness of it, the 3 aspect of it, in that it doesn't consume you, you know? It doesn't rule your life. You're not in your head all the time. You're out there making moves. Pentacles are very practical action, okay? It's not a lot of dreamy energy, and the wands also are not necessarily super dreamy. Like, they're passionate. They are dreams in action, okay? So, Sag, I feel for you, what you're hoping for, wishing for, what you're expecting is some type of call to be made, whether that's an actual phone call or call as in decision. Like, you've made your decision down here. You've done all your homework. You've done all the work that you needed on your application. You've got all your references. You've got all of your proposal material together, and you've put it all in a nice package way. So I'm going to submit my application here. I'm going to apply for a job there, whatever. And now what you're expecting is to hear back. You're expecting to be given notice of whether you've been accepted, you've been approved, or rejected, okay? And I think, oh, man. There is a feeling of hopefulness behind it, if I'm honest. I don't think many of you are feeling pessimistic. I think many of you are feeling very hopeful, optimistic, or at least, if you don't get everything you want, you're going to get some of what you want, okay? That's the feeling there. Your second card in your 5th position, but is also the same, what do you call that? Not description, but the same emphasis, the same message comes next to it, and that's the 5 of Pentacles. So these two are kind of matched together, right? And the 3 of Pentacles matched with the 5 of Pentacles. There's a little bit of sorrow here. The 5 of Pentacles, and this card is much different, and it would be hard for you to really see, I think. But the pentacles are actually, oh, I don't know if it'll focus. This camera gets on my nerves. Sometimes it focuses, and maybe it's the quality of the card. That could be the difference. Let me try again. There we go. A little better. Oh, come on now. It doesn't want to focus. All right, so that tower, there we go. That pointed building there with the pointed steeple, that has the pentacles on it in this card. So it's kind of a weird card. Like, you wouldn't, like, even from this distance in front of my face, it's a little hard for me to see the pentacles a little bit. But anyway, so Five of Pentacles traditionally talks about loss, talks about how is it depicted in the traditional Rider-Waite? I can't visualize it right now, and I'm not going to go look at it. Anyway, it usually talks about some type of disappointment. Thank you, that's it, when they're out. Oh, is that why this is a steeple? I got you. Okay. It took me a minute. Okay, so the Five of Pentacles, traditionally in the Rider-Waite deck, depicts two people in the snow, in a blizzard, outside of like a church or some type of sanctuary, and just feeling like, you know, out in the cold, you know, out in the elements, lost, adrift, right? Similar feeling here, where for some of you, maybe that message of rejection will come through, and that's how you'll feel. Your application was not approved. We liked you as a candidate, but we're going to go with someone else for the job, etc., etc. So some of you might feel lost, adrift because of that. You might feel total, that no, that, you know, we would love to, but we can't kind of message might come to you, and that might make you feel this way. And of course, that's not what you are wishing or hoping for. Like I said, this could be what your efforts lead to, okay? For others of you, because it's touching that, just a second. With the Five of Pentacles touching that, your decision, and then, okay. Okay, thank you. Okay, so let's go back to what we were talking about earlier about like walking away from or leaving a certain situation or circumstances that were stable for you, or walking away from something that provided for you, something that gave you sustenance. Some of you might be, like I said, leaving a job already, or leaving a business that's already established, or leaving a certain relationship that gave you stability, that gave you sustenance, or that supported you. And as you go, Sagittarius, which you have a very good talent for going, that's not a knock. That's just actually the truth. You have a good way of getting on with it. You have a good way of just continually moving forward. And when you do that, even if you do it frequently, even if you do it not easily, but with certain tenacity, you still have doubts. You still have regrets. You still have things that you are sorry for, or things that you miss, things that you feel you won't get back, or you really treasure, but they are a part of your past, and you have to, you know, kind of honor them as being part of your past. So this would be this is what that is for some of you, is like, I am moving forward. I feel good about moving forward. I've worked towards moving forward, and that's what I want. But at the same time, some of you might be thinking, but I'm going to miss that person, or I'm going to miss this aspect of the experience. I'm going to miss this aspect of the job. Some of you might be, in terms of missing, you might miss your autonomy. So some of you might be moving from a place where you were kind of not fun and fancy free, but you were kind of, you weren't super dependent on other people. So you might be missing your independence. There's this aspect of missing. And like I said, going back to that traditional interpretation, being adrift out in the cold, that to me has the element of missing, like being away from. I can't. What? Missing, away from. All right. So in this card, there's a city in the background there, and this person is just like crouched down by a lake or some little creek or something like that. And so there's this element of maybe this person is missing out on something, or feels they are missing out on something. They're apart from. Oh, is that it? Okay. So if you're leaving a job, thank you. It took a while for them to give me this. Okay. So if you're leaving a job where, you had social interactions, you had relationships with people there, you love working with your boss or whatever, your coworkers, and you're leaving that job for a new job, you might socially feel like you're missing. You will miss those people. You will miss the experiences and the memories that you've shared with these people. And if you're doing this whole startup business thing, maybe you're going out and you're striking out on your own, and you're now going to be your own boss. You know what I mean? So you might be missing that social dynamic, those social interactions, that cohesive feeling a part of something, and you might be going on this solo journey, which again, you can do, and if that's your path, you probably will do it, and you can succeed. Sagittarius, you're one of those signs that can absolutely succeed going out on your own, not striking it rich, but going out and trying to make a name for yourself and stabilize yourself on your own terms, with your own passions and your own dreams. You have the high chance of not only succeeding at that, but doing it, and like I said, almost doing it effortlessly, right? But the thing that people don't know about you, Sag, but I know about you, is that on the inside, you do have a soft spot. You do have this affinity and this sort of sweet nature to you that will make you reminisce, that will make you say, oh man, I missed hanging out with those people. And you'll spend a moment or two, and then you'll be like, okay, well, it is what it is. I made this decision to move forward. This is where I know I will be happiest or happier, but ultimately I still miss those people. You know what I mean? And I don't think a lot of people give you credit for that, but that's your reality. You are not afraid to go on these different journeys, down these different pathways, but at the same time, you miss certain aspects of the places and the journeys and the adventures that you've had before. You would be, oh God, what do you call those people? Oh God, this is like my English degree working for me. You would be like a nonfiction writer. You would be like a nonfiction, are they called naturalists? Sort of like, oh God, I can't remember his name. See, this is why I wasn't the best. I wasn't the best student, because I can't drop names like that. But there were like writers in the 19th century, the 18th century, or excuse me, the 19th century, the 20th century, who would, oh, what is his name? I can't remember. But they would go out and journey around the country. They would leave their husbands or their wives at home. They would leave their families, their jobs, and they would journal. They would meet with locals. They would stay in a town and stay living there for 5 months, and then they would move on to the next town. And on the train ride, they would be journaling about their experiences in the town that they're leaving, and the people that they would miss, the bonds that they made, and da-da-da-da-da. You would be that person. If your Zodiac had some type of stereotype or some type of cliched characteristic applied to it, that would be you, Sagittarius. You would be that young sort of frontiersman, frontierswoman, going out and surveying the land and putting a foot down in every state, living in different climates, living in a city, living in a rural area, living in a farm, living wherever, because you're just thrust forward. I'm going on a total tangent here, but you're feeling in life most of the time, Sagittarius, is you're being thrust forward. Some of you feel you're being pulled forward, by the way. Some of you don't have that inclination to go out there with gusto and propel yourself. But regardless, Sagittarius, your mantra, not your mantra, but your overall aspect is progression. You're a sign that says go, 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 move, 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 forward, forward, forward. And when you do that, if you are somebody who gets attached to people, you become comfortable in certain situations, having to get out of those relationships, get out of those comfortable circumstances can be a little painful or a little remorseful for you. You could be like, oh man, I really enjoyed, working with you guys for the past 6 years, and like you're choking up as you're saying goodbye, and I've just really enjoyed working with you guys, but I can't, it's been an honor. That could be you on your last day of work. Like, you're still going to go forward with that 3 of Wands. You're still going to make that progress. You're still going to go forward, but part of you is like, and I just want to say I love you guys very much, and I've never felt so, you know what I mean? So that can be what's going on here in your second layer, okay? That was a long time talking about that, but I think it had to be clarified, because if you're familiar with tarot, you might be a little distressed. How can something so sort of optimistic be right next to something that's sort of pessimistic or kind of, not groggy, but overcast, gray, gloomy? Thank you, that's the word, gloomy. That's how. Because, I think we have, not just in our own personal development, but there are moments like that in everybody's life, not just yours, Sagittarius, everybody's life. I'm going to go do this thing, but I don't want to leave you behind. Or I got to go do this thing, but oh man, I've treasured my memories over here. And so you feel sort of conflicted. You feel sort of pulled in 2 different directions. That might be what's going on there, okay? So your 6th and final position at the top of your spread, which is also the top of your cake, you might as well think of this as your candle. And this would be, excuse me. I'm going to have a cup of tea after this. Oh my God. All right. So this is at the top. So, hello. That was a nice little entry into this card, right? This would be your wish. Something that might be coming from the universe. Something that you need. Something that you desire at your deepest level. So, make a wish. Blow out your candle, right? And you've got the 3 of Cups at the top of your cake. Oh, that's nice. That's nice. A lot of celebration there. Party, shots, shots, okay? People dancing. I laughed so hard there because when I go out with my friends, there's a certain song that's like our song, a song for like 8 people, that if it plays, that's it. It's just a huge moment of joy. So that's the feeling that they want me to emphasize here, is not necessarily going out. You don't have to go out to clubs or bars or anything, but you can go out as terms of like just hanging out with people and being close with people that you love, being close with people that you like, and just having a good time. Like, that's kind of what I think you need after all of this. There's a lot of work. All that green there, all that Pentacles energy, a lot of work. Pentacles, again, slow, methodical, industrious energy that requires a lot of commitment, a lot of time, a lot of toiling, a lot of energy. Like, even though some people might believe Pentacles are kind of not boring, but kind of trite. Okay, sure, trite. Here we go with like that 18th century, 19th century language from my English degree, but trite, as in like, like it kind of sucks the fun out of life. Like it's so focused on materialism or materialistic gains, and it's very basic. There you go. That's a more 21st century way of thinking about it. It's very basic. It's very there's a monotony. Thank you. There's like a monotony to it. There's a Yeah, sure, a boringness, okay, Mondays, you know. Pentacles, that's the card of Mondays. Hump day, all of that. That sentiment, it can be associated with the Pentacles cards, or Pentacles suit, excuse me. And energetically, it requires a lot. If the Pentacles, again, rules over money, things that we value, time, that's just that's constant, excuse me, that's constant in our lives. You can't escape time. You know, if you think about it, time goes into everything you do. From the moment you wake up to the moment you go to bed, from the moment you're born to the moment that you die. Time is just always there. It's always factoring into something that you do. And that's a lot, right? You've got 6 cards on this board. 4 of them were Pentacles. That's a lot. And to release from that very grounded, almost suppressed, or just downward heavy energy that the Pentacles can have, you've got this 3 of Cups. And again, I'm led to talk about the 3s. The 3s, again, are, you know, it's a low card. It's low in terms of the number, meaning it's not steadfast. It's not going to last forever. It's a moment in time. A moment in time. It's a moment, you know, celebration. So this is your birthday. So this could be your actual birthday. That kind of counteracts this energy, that kind of comes and alleviates the stress of that energy for you. You go out with your friends, you have a couple of drinks, or you stay in, you play a couple of board games, a couple of card games, you watch some movies, you have a little sleepover. I don't know what you're doing. You could be 30 years old and doing sleepovers. That's cool. I'm down for that. I would totally do that. Oh my God, I would love that. That's the kind of mood I'm in right now. But anyway, so however you're celebrating, however you're getting together with friends and family and having a good time, that is sort of what you want, or what you need deepest, whether you know it or not, in order to kind of offset or even commemorate or kind of draw a conclusion to this evolution that you're going through, or this decision going forward. So this, and okay, thank you. It's touching both of these. So duh, this could be a celebration to when your application is approved. You've been granted your loan. You're in the certification program. You're in the college program of your choice. You did get, you know, like I said earlier, some of you down here with the 2 of Pentacles, some of you are journeying somewhere. So some of you might be applying for jobs that take you overseas. Wow. We're going like way back down here just for a second, because I didn't talk about it, even though it was there. And I'm sorry, I apologize. But for some of you, you see that boat there? It's on water. That's a huge sailboat. It's very old school, but it is a very large boat. So some of you are going overseas for a job. Some of you are going international for work, international for school, international because you just want to, because you just want to live somewhere that isn't your hometown. And that would give you all of that. The time is now. I booked the flight. It's the perfect time to go. I found an apartment, or I found a host that will keep me for like 2 months before I find my own apartment over there. And then you're just expecting and looking forward towards the future, but you're also kind of sad because you're leaving. Oh yes, hello. This is great. I hate that it came so late. I hope you're still with me. But for those who need to hear this, I hope you hear it. Where this would again be you by yourself lamenting and feeling sad about what you're leaving behind. That cityscape, that town in the background, that's your hometown. That's where you're from. And you're out there by yourself, by the creek, by the lake, shedding a few tears, feeling a little sad because you're leaving tomorrow, or you're leaving in a week, whatever. And you are going to a new place that you've never been before, and that makes you feel like a fish out of water. That makes you feel alone, adrift, out in the cold. Thank you. Oh. Now, I felt fine with the message that I gave you earlier, but that is just a particular highlight for somebody. So what you need to kind of prepare yourself, or kind of, not prepare yourself, but kind of put a period, thank you, behind all of this, to close out this aspect of what's going on in your life, have a little celebration, have a little goodbye, bon voyage party, right? Have a little birthday celebration. This is coming towards some of you. Your birthdays are towards Christmas. You're gonna have a little Christmas party, and maybe in the new year is when you're leaving. I don't know. But there is this aspect, or excuse me, that sixth position, that top card of yours is really about putting a cap on something, like drawing a line under something and being celebratory about it, feeling good about it, going out and toasting to this next phase in your life, okay? All right, so that's the birthday message. We do oracle cards here. So yours today, I haven't used this deck on camera before, and I'm not like shy about it. I'm just like letting you know you're like the first that I've used. Almost all the decks that I've had. There's like a few tarot decks I haven't used. Well, there's many tarot decks I haven't used, but my oracle cards, I've used almost all of them. I'm looking. Yeah, I think this is the only. Oh no, there's another one. So there's 2 oracle decks I've not used before. So look at you, you're getting one of the you're getting one of the oracle decks I've never used. This one is called Earth Magic. That's the back of the card there. Why am I holding it at this angle? It's so weird. And it's by Stephen D. Farmer, in case you're interested. And it's very nature-based, which, oh my god. Fun little story. I ask for everything. I mean, I decided to use this deck, the Spirit Within Tarot. I asked to use this deck for my birthday messages when I first did it for Leo, and I'm going to do that until I finish with Pisces. But I asked for different oracle decks, and I asked, which oracle deck am I using today for Sagittarius as I was meditating? And this came up, and I'm like, this one? The nature one? Like, I mean, look, it's like naturescapes. I don't mind it. It's very pretty. I wouldn't have bought it and used it if I don't like it. But I was just like, really? Because I'm not one that easily connects with aspects of nature. And that's part of my reason for getting this deck, is I needed to connect with another aspect of life. Because I know other people connect with nature in a way that I don't. Anyway, so I said, oh, which one am I using for Sagittarius? I was expecting like one of the other 2 decks that I primarily use, and they're like Earth Magic. And I was just like, oh, Earth Magic, really? Okay. And then I was just like, really? For Sagittarius? I guess. And I just didn't get it. But now I'm like, look at all that green. Look at all that green in your reading. Look at all that pentacles, because again, pentacles are assigned to earth signs and is concerned with energies involving the earth. What is here in our 3D experience, everything that you can touch, taste, smell, hear, everything that you value, everything you place value on, your money, your home, the food you eat, everything. Pentacles, okay? It all makes sense now why Earth Magic came out for you. So let's go ahead and shuffle these. I know I ranted a few times in your reading. I shouldn't have, because my voice is a little messed up, but when things come to me and like there's like a mini revelation, I feel compelled to share it. So I apologize if that is annoying to you guys, but I had to. Sagittarius, an oracle message for Sagittarius. And I don't use this deck often, so we're probably going to refer to the book. Oracle message for Sagittarius during their birthday period. Good, thank you. All right, let's see. Ooh, hello. All right, let's see. I'll just place that there for a second. And you have fire, passion. Nice. Nice. That's us. And I say us as in fire signs. I'm a fellow fire sign, so I understand this energy a little bit. So fire, passion. Without having any, not looking at the book just yet, I get the feeling that this is what you need affirmation of. Your fire, your passion. You need to remember what it is that moves you, that guides you in this world. Is your fire, is your passion, is your vision for the future? Is your vision for worlds unknown, worlds unexplored? You are the explorer. You are the eternal student of life in the Zodiac, and you're propelled by your passion, by your vision, by your fire, Sagittarius. You have to remember that. So I think that needs to be affirmed to you today. Let's see what the book says, because that's just what I feel, but let's just see what the book says. And it goes in alphabetical order. And there it is, fire, passion. And I'll hold it up while I read this to you. Let's pretend we're in, middle school. Here we go. Since the dawn of humankind, we've been fascinated by fire. As soon as early humans were able to make fire, it changed our lifestyle dramatically. Through its capacity to generate heat and light, fire made it possible to cook food, stay warm in cooler climates, and keep predators away at night. And of course, that huge furnace called the sun is the spark of life here on Earth, bringing not only the necessary warmth of this incredibly huge ball of fire, but also the life-giving rays of light emitted by that fire. What are your passions? What turns you on? What ignites that inner flame, that creative spark? When you feel devoid of passion, consider what is missing in your life. It is most likely an absence of fire in your belly. Sometimes that makes your heart beat faster and quickens. Hold on, had to turn the page. Passion is not something that comes from outside of you, although some events and circumstances can trigger it. It is an intensity of feeling, whether quietly experienced or enthusiastically expressed. Passion can simply be a strong feeling, or the sensation itself can be so powerful that it motivates you to act. This is too often associated exclusively with sexuality, which is certainly one way of experiencing it. Yet it limits its meaning and demeans the broader possibilities. Open yourself to the truth of what you are passionate about and find a means to express it. Look at that. I was in sync with this card, with the meaning, without actually knowing it. So yeah, I think for you, Sagittarius, not that you've had a lot here. You really only have the Three of Wands. Again, Wands corresponds to the fire signs and aspects of the fire signs. And I think, not to counteract, but to kind of remind you of why all of this green, all of this earth energy, all of this pentacle energy is around you, is the focus of your reading today, is because it does have to deal with your passion. What you already have in your life that you know you're passionate about, or the passions that you are missing, the passions that you don't fully understand or appreciate or even acknowledge, or even haven't discovered yet, okay? So get to that point, Sagittarius. Get to a full knowing, a full understanding, and a full embrace of your passions. I think is kind of the underbelly, or the undertone of your reading is it has to be rooted in your passions. Whatever you're doing, whatever you're deciding on, wherever you're going, wherever you're moving towards, wherever you're moving away from, make sure it's aligned with your passion, okay? All right, Sagittarius, this has been your birthday message from November 22nd through December 20th. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you did, drop a like, comment. You can reach me for personal readings by following the steps in the description box below. Also, feel free to subscribe and, of course, share the video. And I will see you guys for this particular reading in 1 year in November 2019. Until then, guys, I thank you so much. Take care. Bye.